Hello and welcome, Chicken. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
First off, what corporation and alliance are you in?
This time I'm in the Corporation F Society with the tag Who. In the Alliance. No, please stop.
All right, so why the name Chicken?
Um, in my youth, uh, I was at a friend's birthday party, and we were all quite intoxicated, and she was a little inebriated and was feeling sad, and I took it upon myself to raise her spirits. And so I started skipping around the pool and flailing my arms and head around, and uh, I had like hair past my shoulders at the time. And my friend looks up at me with one eye and goes, "You look like a chicken." And I know how nicknames start in high school, so I looked at her and very sternly and boldly said, "I do not look like a chicken." No one heard her, everyone heard me. Therefore, I've been chicken since I was 17.
Ah, amazing. You gave yourself the name unintentionally.
Unintentionally.
Yeah.
But at one point, like for a while, I was really like, no. But then at some point, I just kind of owned it. It, took less than a year, but it's quite fitting. It's funny story. A lot of my friends in my 20s genuinely thought my mom was some kind of hippie and named me Chicken.
That would be pretty cool. I can't lie.
I mean, I always love those unique names where they stood out. Like, and I mean, I have yet to come across someone with just the name Chicken. Like, I have, there's chicken this or chicken that. Uh, but yeah, it's really unique. And when I do find somebody with the name, we, there can be only one. We start a little mini rivalry. I don't know if they're, playing part of it, but for me, I'm like, there can be only one. I will find you.
Amazing. A little bit of a fight there. Like a cockfight, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I saw you when you did the how many tokens do I need video on your own YouTube Chicken Gaming. That's where I saw you the first time. It was like a month ago, and you've been on a couple of things already. You've been on, I think you was on Who Wants to Be a Billionaire in Echoes of New Eden podcast, right?
Almost. I popped on for the content creator corner that they had, and then I had to pop off right as they were starting the Who Wants to Be a Billionaire. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We talked about different things going on in the game, and I still have to catch up on the recordings of the billionaire thing. I made a joke because my corp tag is Who, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a shoe-in. Who is a billionaire?"
Who would have known? One question I always ask is, have you been active in EVE Online?
I was always very curious about EVE Online, but I never really got into it. I played like 3 or 4 times over the years, really close to its launch, and then a couple of times because close friends of mine were like, "You like MMOs? Why don't you play this? I'll set you up." The learning curve at the time that I was doing it, I was also involved in another MMO pretty heavily. I can't remember because each time, I've done it so many times, there's always a new MMO. But I could tell that it really deserved a lot of attention and learning, and I just never crossed that barrier. But one of my close friends, who plays the game too, or played for a long time, he got me into Eve Echoes when it launched. I was like, "You mean an easier to understand Eve, and I have a resource next to me to tell me all the stuff I don't know?" And
Oh,
and it was a wrap. I got into Eve Echoes. Since I've tried to install and kind of play Eve Online, but while I understand more of what's going on, I also could see that, like, okay, I would replace Eve Echoes with Eve Online if it ever came to that. But I'm more an Echoes kind of person.
same as me. I was an EVE Online player for 16 years. As I always say, but there's always new people listening to this show. But yeah, for 16 years, and when they launched this game on the mobile, I was like, I'm giving away everything. sold off some stuff and gave away all my ISK and just started Eve Echoes, like full time. Yeah, it's great. It can be better, but you know, it's great for what it is.
Yeah, and that's kind of a couple of points I made in, and I think at least two of my videos was, you know, yeah, we want things to be different, or we want things to be added, or etc. But what about what's already in the game? Like, we can maybe think outside the box. Like, you know, one thing that I really think would be cool is if we added a way, since insurance doesn't kind of prevent ships from being destroyed, like in EVE Online.
Oh, you have an answer for the insurance. That's nice. Let's hear.
Um, if we had the ability to reprocess ships, it just like we do with modules, you know, gives a percentage of what you got back from it. I don't think it should give any of the ISK back, but you know, that's one way that we could kind of help erase some ships from the game and then revitalize some of those, you know, lower tech level stuff. You know, revitalize some of the, you know, builders, instead of only building whatever's the top tier right now because nobody's buying anything else, or it already exists in abundance. But since that doesn't exist right now, what can we do that does exist? Well, I posited that we could take our old ships out and claim insurance in the place that there was already a buy order for, and instead of having you know, something collecting dust in your hangar, now you have, albeit you know, a portion of probably what you spent, but you got a little bit of ISK back from it, at the cost of, you know, whatever the IP was, which chances are you have in abundance in relation to what that ship costs.
Okay, so who would buy all the ships just to reprocess it?
Well, I maybe you add another skill instead of salvaging, their ship salvaging, and then that becomes another, like, you know, SP sync that people can invest in, and, you know, just like salvaging is right now, it doesn't have to be tied to any one type of thing. You could just do it. And then you have minerals, and you can sell those on the market, probably easier than you could sell the other thing. But, you know, that touches base on Benzie's whole race to the bottom thing, with too many minerals existing in the first place.
That would prevent some ships from being too cheap, because if it's too cheap, like if it goes below that barrier, then people would reprocess it and take the minerals. But since the minerals are declining, and I thought that they would go up in terms of building the rock walls and the new orcas and stuff, and they talked about having yeah, well, they were saying that they were gonna up the amount of minerals needed for building ships, but I cannot see any of that. So yeah, we're in a tricky situation, especially with the insurance that we have. But that could be a way for a solution, I think. My own solution was that no one uses the LP. But I don't think anyone jumped on that. Only me
I
who
think
did
there's a
that.
lot of people who do that, at least in
Oh,
my corp.
really?
They like, yeah, yeah, they'll take out, like, they're like, man, I haven't flown this ship in 6 months. Let me go blow it up. I am not claiming it. I didn't fly
Oh,
it before.
nice.
I'm not going to fly it again.
That's actually very good.
But
Instead of
that kind of
selling it,
leads itself to the creating your own content thing.
it does. It sure does. So, what do you like most doing in Eve?
Right now, I really like kind of like small gang roams. I'm trying to get better at understanding, like, the pathing and the mapping and stuff like that. I started out as a miner, and then I got into ratting, and I still have yet to do any of the capital anomalies, so I kind of like stepped away from ratting a little bit. But yeah, PvP is my fun thing. The Cinnabon is probably my favorite ship to do it in. But yeah, I've also been having a lot of fun in our Macarial fleets. I don't think that I'd fly the Macarial alone, and that's why I like the Cinnabon.
All right. So, you started doing your content 3 months ago, right?
Yeah, for this game, 3 months ago, I think I counted, and I think I have about 10 or 12 videos.
Yeah, all right. So
for Eve Echoes.
I kind of thought you started the game recently, but you started since the beginning then.
Yeah. I just when I've always been interested in content creation since way back when I watched Howley's video on how do you turn this into a full-time job. It takes 6 months, and these are the steps. And I was like, bet. I have like literally everything I need to do 1080 at the time, 1080p live streaming of content. And I think at the time I just needed to get a webcam or something equally simple. And I was like, well, duh, let me go spend $20.
Yeah.
um, and after I make money, I can get a real camera. And so when Eve Echoes came out, like you saw on some of my channel, I kind of dove into it a little bit, but I really didn't have the time. And admittedly, probably now I don't either. But before, I thought it was about live streaming and all that. And when I got into Echoes, there was a lot of personalities that were already doing all the content things that I was interested in knowing. You had you had Sovereign was the salty guy. I loved the shit out of him. I wish that he had stuck around, but I understand. Like he went from like mildly salty to full salt, so I would move on if that's what my game was. Um, and but there's a lot of folks out there, and then as time went on, there were it became like people uh, didn't have as much passion for the idea of it, and then there was it was something I was thinking about doing. My corp mates were encouraging me, like, come on, man, we need somebody in our corp that's, we need some exposure. And so, I never really jumped on that part because that, like, the limelight wasn't really why I was interested in doing it. But being able to offer, like, real information that, might not be ideal or perfect, but at the same time, like, kind of gives you a new way to think about it, a new way to look at it. And when Benzi put out, I think the video that kind of like got me going was I can't remember exactly what his video was about, but my response was like, this is the race to the bottom, like doing my part or something like that. Oh, the auto salvager paywall. What that one, I hit record, I started going, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? And then a friend of mine was asking me about regional delivery, or he didn't understand like that you can do regional deliveries for free and immediate between things in the same system. And I was pointing out, for us, since I'm in No, a lot of us are up in Vale of the Silent, and so having it go from JITA to OBE instantly, so you didn't have to make those 16 jumps, 8 back and forth if you're on shortest, really saved a lot of our court mates time when they just, needed to grab one or two things before they went back up into the pipe. And I realized that it wasn't really taking me much time to kind of put these short form videos out there. And it just, how do you build a habit? You just keep doing it. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where I started going. And then I think Damon XL actually put me on his podcast, or I'm sorry, his news once, and that's kind of where I got an influx of people that came in, and that's what really told me, like, this isn't just nothing that nobody cares about. Like, there's something there, Chris.
I did notice that too when I started YouTube, that I had no idea how YouTube worked. And as I said recently, that it was kind of a bet between me and a friend, and he said, you're not gonna make it through YouTube, or maybe it was like I said, you know what, how about I start a YouTube channel? And he said something like, you're not gonna make it because it's so hard. And I was like, it can't be hard, if you want to do it, you just do it, you go like crazy, and you make it, and you don't quit. and he said, okay, if you get 1,000 views in a year, 1,000 subs in a year, then sure, you're right. And I was like, that's gonna be easy. And as soon as I started, like the first month I had 80 subs. I was like, this is not gonna go well. this this is so hard. And then like one more month passed and I had 160 or something. I was like, yeah, this, I don't know if this is gonna work. And then, at times it got better, and then, up and down all the time. But what I did learn is that when I started something that I did not know I was gonna like, and I just liked it so much that I stopped actually playing other games. I just like made stuff that I realized that people needed to know, even though I felt like, why is people even listening to this? Like, why are people asking these questions? I'm at where I am today, and I could never guess it. It was like a year ago, I had no idea. And it's amazing when you find something that is really, really fun. And I've been cranking out videos like crazy because it was fun. And now it's like taking a life on its own in a way.
Some of what you were doing, content-wise, too, kind of mirrored some things going on in my life, because it was, my daughter was playing the swimming game, and really was getting into it with me, and I had to be there to protect her from the big monster. And I think you know what game I'm talking about. Subnautica. You started putting out content for Subnautica.
Oh yeah,
and I'm
dude.
like,
Yeah.
awesome. And it's like I think I have 2 or 3 Xbox games like specifically for my daughter, and that was one of the ones that I was like, with the exception of the scary sea monsters, like, this is,
it's beautiful.
this is the game for her.
Oh, it's nice. Oh, did you see my videos, or did you just realize that
I watched
I did
a little bit of them.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, when I saw you, I put it on watch. I have ADHD real bad, so of course, I probably walked away from my phone before the video was over.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no. One of the things you mentioned too, when you were talking, is, saying, to paraphrase what you were saying, you were, saying things that everybody knew, but no one seems to know. And that's kind of why I put out the regional delivery one, and
Yeah.
And the auto salvager one, saying, hey, this is how you can use the auto salvager with no skills. It's not good, but it doesn't suck either.
True. Very true. It's weird. Like, I had all this before YouTube. I had all this knowledge since I play so much games, and I want to understand games. I've always delved deep into the games that I play, and a friend told me, like, you should do YouTube videos about, all the knowledge that you have. And I was like, why is people looking for that? Because I'm not looking for that myself. I don't want to know that. I want to figure that out myself. But yeah, people seems to want to know.
And for me personally, as a consumer of content, like, my buddy I was referencing that got me into the game, he looked at me like I was crazy because I wanted to watch like 4 or 5 videos on a thing before I started playing a thing. And usually I would do that like when I was doing other stuff, and kind of pick it up in the background or something, like with my earbud in.
Yeah.
But like, just getting a different perspective, maybe thinking of something in a different way. So maybe I do know exactly what you're talking about, but I want to see what you learned about it. And that kind of also encourages me when I'm starting to, thinking of content ideas. A lot of people already know about how to use court missions for SRP, but there's still a few people in my corp that didn't know, and I figured if these guys don't know, then how many other people don't know?
When you say it like that, I do understand. Like, there's always, like, this is the right way, but there's always other things that that you can find out maybe by listening to other people. They can say some certain words that you didn't think about, and then you use your own imagination and explore it, like explore a question even more. I don't know. I'm at times afraid that I do content that other people already done. Do you feel that?
Yeah, there's a certain amount of I don't want to make the same video that somebody else made. And I think that's part of the reason why I watch ahead of time. But when you were talking, I was thinking in regards to an artist or a chef or even an investigator, like when you're coming up with something new or when you're digging into something, you don't want to contaminate or taint your ideas with other people's ideas. Let your ideas flow freely, and then when you've kind of finish that idea or come to a close enough completion point, you're like, ah, yes, this is my pearl I've created. Then double checking with other resources to just maybe after publish or pre-publish, looking into the other sources to be like, what was their take? Let me throw a response to that. What's my, now that I've done this with this perspective, how would I respond to this individual's point here?
That's a good point. I like that. So, alright, back to Eve Echoes. During PvP, you talk about small gang. Are you the DPS or are you the tackler or what's your position?
Like I said earlier, I have ADHD, and so I kind of do all of them. Um, I have an alt that I put into light dictors. My main does either DPS or heavy dictors, and I also have a character that does Logi and a character that does tackle. Like the dictor, Logi, and tackle are all one character, to be clear. And then my other character is my battleship and cruiser character. And but for the most
Alright.
part, I do the recently I've been doing the dictor role, just because you need more dictors.
Yeah. And what is your favorite ship?
For the interdiction, I really like the MOA, but I've been using the RB a lot because the MOA is just really expensive, and the dictor's the first thing that dies. And I've realized that I could do the dictor probably 30 or 40 times with the IP I have, or the MOA, or I could do the RB 300 or 400 times. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the RB out unless we're like doing a thing. If it's just messing around,
Yeah.
it's the RB. Yeah.
But you do have some nice ships, don't you?
Yeah, I got the Cinnabol, I got the Gila, and I got the Macarial as my three flagships. Uh, and that's on my main. On my I guess I'd call him my third alt. I have him in a Roke, which is and a Daredevil.
Oh,
Oh, and
nice.
my second alt, I got the Succubus, and I got it up to pre-patch. I got it over 10k speed in the straight line. That was fun.
Dude, that is nice. That might be the fastest I've heard in Echoes.
I had to get all the speed things in the core. I only got up to tier 4 because I don't think I'm ever gonna get tier 5 in any of the nano cores.
It's expensive.
But I have an abundance of the other materials, so I'm like, heck yeah. Like, especially when I learned it doesn't change the IP cost, no matter what the level is. It does change the listed value, but it doesn't change the IP cost.
That's a great video. 10k MS. I think so.
Yeah.
Can you recall your best kill?
Well, my best ever kill was when I was in. I should say my most expensive kill, which I felt really good about, was when I was in it was a CTA fleet, and I was flying my striker, and everybody. I think we ended up killing eight uh, eight capital. What was it? It was 8 revelations or something like that. What are the
Whoa.
dreadnoughts? 8 dreadnoughts, and um, out of all the ships on the field, I was the only subcap that got a kill mail on one of the dreadnoughts. So
Oh,
it
nice.
was one of those, like, I snuck in there and I did everything I was supposed to, and I just felt like I executed what I needed to do in that situation really well. But probably my my the best kill actually I ended up dying I jumped in and got tackle on. I want to say it was a Mac, and I ended up dying, but I felt like that was my kill because the way the fleet came in, like somebody had originally tackled it, and like I got there just in time to snatch it before he could get away, and of course then I died, but the fleet had landed at that point, and we got that kill mail, and it wasn't even a big fleet. It was like 5 of us, like, and 2 of us had died.
That's a nice memory. All right, so how do you pay for your ships in the game? Do you grind for it, or do you put money into the game?
Mostly grind. I think a while ago I had gotten like $100 gift card for Google Play for doing something at work, and I did, buy ISK, and that's where I got the Gila from. But um, now thinking back to it, the ship that I put real money into, and I didn't. To be clear, I didn't spend $100 on the Gila,
Oh, that's
but
an expensive
it
Gila.
was one of the things that came about from that. Basically, the free money in my Google account, um,
Yeah.
and but the ships that are how I get my ISK mainly now is I. Uh, a courtmate and I are working together. Like him and I have strip mining skills, and we're just building ships below market value for our courtmates, so that they can get into some of the T10 ships a little quicker. Maybe try something out without having a huge investment cost. And regularly, this dude just sends me ISK, and I'm like, "Whoa, thanks, man." I'm just doing it to be nice. But before that, I did some of that high sec Clarilim stuff. Um, I put a video out on it, race to the bottom, doing my part. Yeah. And but it was usually I was always broke. I do have a PI station, but I donate that to the corp entirely. I wouldn't say I started making any ISK per se, but my like I said, I have strip mining skills, so I would just collect the materials, and my buddy would build all the ships, and now I build the ships too.
It's nice. I do also build ships. It's
Yeah, but
nice. I think it's nice. Yeah.
I
Yep.
was gonna say not to sell. It's just more like to save me the money of buying it.
That well, if you're a miner, I've always said that mining does not give that much risk. But if you can convert the minerals into something, items or ships, then you pretty much almost double the value of your mining time.
Yeah, exactly. And then I built, I think it was like after I bought that Gila, I built 3 Gilas, and I built 2 Cinnables, and the Mac I'm flying right now I built.
I think it's beautiful in the game when you can. I mean, so I do know some people who never buy from market. They have their like in their goal. It's like to have all faction ships built by themselves and fitted by themselves. And I think that is an honorable goal. Actually, I'm not sure how that goes, but I do know that they have at least 1 or 2 fully done already. So it's a matter of mining, building, and then going into these different nullsec areas because all items drops on different areas. So you have to go in there and you have to find all the items yourself.
That definitely sounds like a good series. Like
Yeah,
I remember when B8KD put out his solo self-found series, basically, and
yeah.
it's too bad that didn't continue longer, but it was
Oh, you
definitely
mean you mean the one and then we fight?
no, he had a he had a series where he started out, and his entire goal was to, like, he had set a goal for himself. Like, he wanted to get into a Dramiel without buying anything off the market, and without getting anything from any players, going out and getting it all himself,
All right. Yeah.
building it all himself. And he was doing it starting as an alpha 2. He wasn't even going to buy Omega. He wanted to earn it all in game.
Yeah, that's hard today. That one is
Yeah.
hard. But I mean, you need hard goals.
Yeah, yeah, it's you know, how do you make the game fun? And what you were describing and what BAKD did, that sounds like adding an element of hard mode, so that you know,
Oh
to
yes, oh
do it a
yes.
little bit tougher than
Kind of like
before.
Eve Echo's Iron Man, or
Yeah,
the Holy Grail for Eve Echoes. I would like to do it.
exactly.
I don't have the time. Like right now,
Oh,
I play
I
20% and I make videos 80%, and that's not gonna change. So, but yeah, it's a
nice.
cool
Yeah,
idea.
I probably do the inverse. Play 80%,
Yeah,
make videos
that's what I
20%. But
did. I
I'm
think that's
still
good.
super new in all of it. I think
True, true.
one of the things too that's really encouraging about watching your rise, because I think I started following you a little bit before um, you branched out into other games, but that that uh, at least with recent content, um,
Yeah,
I'll admit I don't really scroll down in people's things. I just like I'm like, oh, from here forward.
yeah, yeah.
um,
True. You've missed a lot of fun
uh,
stuff.
yeah.
Never mind.
No, and now that I'm saying this, I'm probably gonna take the time to do it because now I feel bad.
What?
But
Yeah,
the yeah, like watching that kind of encouraged me too because I've got a lot of other interests in other games, um, you know, how to be an Eve Echoes player that goes to Eve Online. Maybe I'll do that series one day.
yeah, that
Diablo
would work.
Immortal. I
Yeah,
I'm liking that game, but I understand there's a lot of push back and forth on it. I think you kind of put out a really good explanation of it in more than one video, and
yeah,
not directly talking about that, but when you're like, you don't have to do it their way. You can do it your way and just have fun
of
like
course.
before.
Yeah. Don't let don't let the companies push you. Don't let the companies give you your goals. Because their goals in their mind is based on buying stuff. So make your own goals. Save money.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I think, well, either you have like now we're back to YouTube, but like when you have a channel, you're either a channel for a game. Let's say you have a Eve Echoes YouTube channel. That means everything is Eve Echoes. You cannot do anything else, and if the game dies, your channel dies, because that's all you do. People don't know about you. They don't know about your intentions. They only see like your information you're giving out. So I thought, when I felt like I'm not getting more Eve Echo subscribers, I have to branch out, because if something happens, I still wanna, like, I don't wanna show people how to play the game. I don't wanna like tell them what to do. I want them to watch my YouTube as a source of ideas. So I mean, more than me are playing different games on the side, and even though most time are spent in Eve Echoes, they still maybe go into another game on the evenings and they don't talk about it. And in a way, they can see on my channel that I do the same, so they don't feel like, I wouldn't say lonely, but that's what I felt before I started my YouTube. And when I stopped playing PC games, when I got my kids, I thought, I buy a PlayStation 4 and I can play on the TV and take care of the kids. But I felt lonely. Like a year in, like 1 year, 2 year, like there was loneliness, and I missed people around me, like couch gaming, and I want people to feel like I can be that to them, you know.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what my channel would evolve into. But yeah, there's different types of channels, and I think it's good to branch out if that is what you want.
I think it's really indicative of, like you were saying, it's not just you, it's not just me. Like, we don't all just play one game, period. So, I can understand the business side of separating the things out, but that's just not me.
Yeah, all right. So you're gonna be Echoes full time, only
uh,
Echoes.
I'm actually in the near future. I'm probably gonna do something on Diablo Immortal. I haven't decided fully what it's gonna be. And separately too from that, I was recently laid off. I put a short video out about that, and and moving forward from that, there's a lot of emotions, a lot of decisions to make, and a lot of actions to take. And um, I decided to kind of invest in something that I have had a passion for my whole life, which is just technology in general. And so I'm taking the time to learn Java development through uh, a program here in the States called Merit America, where they will give they offer 3 tech courses, and they don't have you pay until after you've completed it. And if you never get a job in the industry, then you're good. And I'm probably poorly paraphrasing what their stuff actually is, but that's the direction I'm going, so that I can get into coding, because it's something that I've really been interested in a long time. And I've been stuck in the service industry, and it just kind of anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. My point is that I was thinking about making a video on my journey in changing a career. Um, so then I would have Eve Echoes, Diablo Immortal, and basically a vlog on, hey, life turned itself upside down. Now what?
I did listen to yours, So You Wanna Be a Fleet Commander. I've had a couple of fleet commanders on this show actually. But I mean, I usually don't like rambling, like rambling videos when people just sit and don't edit, they just talk. But somehow I could not stop listening to that one. As I watch it now, I actually watched pretty much 95% of it. That's pretty crazy. That's not me. But yeah, it was interesting. I like hearing people like their own ideas, their own thoughts about stuff.
Oh, and I'm really glad that you said that, because I actually did do some editing in there, and I wanted to make
Oh,
sure that I edited out enough parts
yeah.
that each section kind of kept you wanting to listen.
Yeah.
And yeah, and apparently I did it so well that it didn't seem like it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I did. Well, maybe, one simple cut, like it's changing the environment or something. I don't know. That is, of course, that can people do. But I didn't see any cuts in like the talking. Personally, I do cut my talk depending on the videos I do, of course. Well, yeah, we're all learning, and that's a big part of it. And I mean, I've learned so much, and I feel that there is so much more to learn. I mean, you're never gonna be like too good at something. Even in real life, you always have something to learn. If you don't, then why live in? Let's talk about Eve Echoes and how that runs today. Do you feel anything missing in the game? Or are you just very happy that the game is around today and you don't have any complaints?
I feel that the thing missing most from the game is the influx of new players. I know that there's things that could be improved upon in the game itself, but I tend to I feel like there's enough people out there who understand these sorts of things a little bit better than me, especially because it's coming from the EVE Online connection that I just don't have. And um, so for me, it's more about looking what's already there and using it to have fun. And so I'm, there's still lots of parts of the game that I, haven't done yet. Like I said earlier, I still haven't done the capital anomaly. Um, I kind of have the idea of the strategy down a little bit, because I've, heard people talking to other people about it. But it, I know that there's stuff missing, but for me to put a label on anything that is missing, I haven't invested the thought. Most of my thought is, okay, what's in the game right now? What haven't I done yet? And in doing those things, like, building ships, nobody wants to buy any of the little ships anymore. How do you get rid of them? So I'll think about that a little bit. But for the most part, you know, I'm happy with what the developers have done. I don't necessarily like that some of the stuff I want requires an investment of more time or more ISK/money. But at the same time, it's not the end of the day. I don't have to play the game at that tier to still have fun and to be competitive in my own way and make a name for myself.
I think that is a very healthy thing to say. and that makes it easy to love a game. Like in the future of Eve Echoes, what do you see? What do you want in the game? Like in terms of updates or anything that comes to your mind?
What I'd like to see is I like jump clones, the jump clones idea. Like, I don't know much about EVE Online, but I remembered that part. That part was cool. um, uh, the uh, the ability to kind of like erase some of the dead time and increase some active time. And what I mean by that is, um, when you go out on roams and an hour later you didn't find anything. And maybe that's poor planning, maybe it's a poor time slot, but there's always a lot of people playing the game, in my opinion. So maybe if they added kind of like a heat map, not in the system per se, but like maybe in a region, you know. Like Great Wildlands has a lot of people right now. It's pink instead of black. Uh, and but not diving into, I know they have the kills that show up and stuff like that, and maybe that idea is really bad for a lot of other reasons, but I I would like to see them add some way for the common average player to know where they can go to get the things that they want to do.
I agree. I think that could be ways to work around that and make that into a thing. I think that would be great with a like a heat map, as you say. Also, the jump clones. I mean, that is a big part of New Eden history. So I think we should actually have that, as well as the wormholes and more stuff like that. But yeah, that's interesting. I do like the opinions you got. I do always ask this question, and some people don't even know the answer to that, but I will ask you that anyway. Do you know how many kill marks you have, like in total, or how many kill marks you have the most on one ship?
Yes, the Cinnabon, I was looking at it the other day, and I'm still learning how to be the guy who gets the kill mark, but I end up roaming with people with really fast guns. But I have 31 kill marks on my Cinnabon.
That is nice. Also, not talking about Eve Echoes, just so people know who's listening that Chicken Gaming has a YouTube channel. I will link that in the description. You can go there and support him if you like. He has some nice content. I do like it. He's fairly new, so give him time and give him some support, alright? Do you play any other game besides Eve Echoes, or is Eve Echoes your life in terms of gaming right now?
Of my gaming time, Eve Echoes is about 90% of it. Um, the in all fairness, 80%. I probably spend 5% of my time playing Diablo Immortal. I want to play it more because I've been in love with the Diablo series since forever. I played one, you know. I was arrested in the middle
me too.
of playing. So the and funny side note there, one of the sergeant for the arresting officers tried to kill my necromancer but couldn't. He spent like an hour trying to do it and just gave up.
Right, but I remember a badass necromancer back in the day. He was called Disease. Was that you? I just have to ask because I remember that guy. All right.
No,
okay.
no, I've I'm good at games, but I'm not epic at games. And the and then the other 10% or 15% of the time I'm playing either Minecraft or whatever game my daughter is into and wants to play.
Well, I actually have a realm on my Discord channel, so if you want to pop into that realm and play with us whenever we play, we don't play that as often anymore, but I mean, we have a big world, everyone is building everywhere. If you want, you can have an invite, just so you know.
Awesome. Yeah, I did download it on my tablet so that I could play with my daughter, but yeah, no, that'd be cool.
Thank you so much, Chicken Gaming, for joining me on this podcast. It was nice to talk about your channel and Eve Echoes, of course, and your future. So good luck with that, and I hope we can do this one more time.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you too. Bye bye.